Quick, you, make a decision right now. There are two paths in front of you, A and B. Pick one. If you chose option A, you have a wife and a son whom you love very much. Your job as a physics professor is boring and tiring, and the students, they could not care less. You have a family you love, but your life feels like there's something missing. If you chose option B, you are now a renowned scientist. You won a physics Nobel Prize, you have tons and tons of money, and you are extremely famous. You have a girlfriend who you don't love very much, which sucks, but at least you have money and you love her just enough to keep her around. So now that you know the other option, would you change your decision? If I was a betting man, I would say roughly 65% of you would want to change your decision. And in case you didn't make it past 5th grade, newsflash, that is more than 50. So why is that? Well, one situation is not objectively better than the other. They are similar in potential but offer two completely different paths in life. And the reason why I would bet more than 50% of you would change your decision is because when we see the other side, we only think of the good and don't even try to think about the bad that might come with it. We build up a fictional reality in our minds, one that would and could never be. Because pretty much no matter what path in life we take, we always want more. The truth is, no matter which path we take, we will always feel the pull of the path not traveled. It's human nature to wonder, to compare, and to convince ourselves that with just a few small changes, we could have had the perfect life. That is ultimately what regret is. It is longing for a world that never exists, a reality where we made all the right decisions. But what if we could live a life where we did make all the right decisions, where we chose the right career, chose our dreams and aspirations, believed in ourselves, and accomplished our goals? Instead of yearning for this life, what if it's there, playing out in another reality not too far away? That's exactly the premise Dark Matter delivers. This novel and TV show, while a bit trivial with science, presents some deep psychological questions, which offers reflection on regret and the path not taken. Dark Matter was one of my favorite shows that I watched in 2024, and to be honest, one of the best TV shows I have seen. The rest of the world thinks it's an above average show, not anything to write home about, and I can kind of understand that. To say I enjoyed this show though is an understatement. I've watched it not once, but twice already, and I rarely give any show or movie a rewatch. The story itself is not only entertaining, but brings up some questions that are definitely worth thinking about. So here is a summary of the basic plot of Dark Matter. Spoiler warnings ahead. Dark Matter follows our protagonist Jason Dessen. He followed Path A in the scenario I started the video with. He's a physics professor who is relatively happy with his life, but feels like there is something missing. In the first episode, Jason is catching up with his friend Ryan in a bar. After some talking and drinking, Jason decides to go home. However, out of nowhere, he gets kidnapped by a mysterious man in a mask. The masked man presents him with a question.
Or have you ever wondered what else you could have been?
Jason, without fear of judgment, answers with,
Yeah.
and passes out. Jason then wakes up in a lab he doesn't recognize, surrounded by a bunch of scientists who act like he just came back from the dead.
Welcome back.
They treat him like he's this genius scientist Jason wished he became, finding that missing piece in life he thought he needed. But the love of his life, Daniela, is nowhere to be seen.
You want to help me? Where the fuck is my wife?
You don't have a wife.
Jason then escapes the lab looking for something, anything to explain what was happening, until he realizes something truly insane.
What if the person that abducted me is me?
The realization, though absurd at first, is correct. The viewer learns the lab is a testing ground for Jason's contraption, the box. But it wasn't our Jason's creation, it was a different Jason. This second Jason, the renowned scientist Jason, the Jason who built the box, was the one who kidnapped him. Jason B, as we'll call him, built a box that puts humans into superposition. Basically, you shoot yourself up with a drug that disconnects your consciousness, step into the box, and from there you could enter whatever reality you are thinking of. It kind of works like this. A little strange, but that's how you travel between realities in Dark Matter. Over the course of the show, we now see two parallel timelines. One where our Jason, Jason A, is working to get back to his wife and his kid, going through an infinite amount of variations of Chicago while learning how to use the box. And one where Jason B, a complete stranger, lives, eats, and sleeps, literally and figuratively, with Daniela. Ignoring some of the subplots that are very entertaining in of itself, that is the show in a nutshell. In both timelines, both Jasons wanted a piece of the other side, and when they actually got to live each other's lives, they both hated it. Jason A, stranded in a reality where he's rich and famous, realizes within minutes that he doesn't care about any of it. He spends the entire season fighting tooth and nail just to get back to his wife and son. Meanwhile, Jason B, the guy who thought he wanted love and family, completely fumbles the bag. He swoops in thinking he can slip into Jason A's life, But he sucks at being a dad and husband. The cracks in this artificial relationship begin to show when he puts up Daniela's unfinished art without her permission. Daniela is embarrassed and absolutely furious with him, and in the heat of the moment, Jason B throws out a line that cuts deep.
Maybe you're just not the person I thought you were.
It's a moment that highlights how disconnected he truly is from the life he thought he wanted, and more importantly shows that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Thinking about life is one thing, but living through it is another. At this point, both Jasons are realizing the same brutal truth. You can't just swap lives and expect to be happy. Jason A may have thought he wanted success, but success without love feels very empty. Jason B may have thought he wanted love, but love without history, trust, and actual emotional connection is just as hollow. They are both stuck in the same trap of chasing a reality that never existed the way they imagined it, though Jason A was kind of forced there. Jason B, grappling with the emptiness of his new life, even seeks out therapy. During a session with his therapist, Jason B describes this new life to her.
It's not everything I imagined.
In response, she delivers a gut punch of a line.
Do you think it's possible you built it up too much? But you forgot something. Life is still just life.
This quote perfectly encapsulates the core theme of the show. No matter how perfect something looks from the outside, it will never be the fantasy you build in your head. And that's the thing about regret. We always assume that the other path would have made us happier, that if we had just picked that major or dated that person or moved to that city, we'd be thriving. But dark matter throws that fantasy out the window. Life is still just life. Jason thought he was missing something, but when he actually got to live through it, it wasn't what he expected. And even if he could rewrite his choices, he'd still be the same person carrying the same doubts and regrets. There is always something you could do better, but the reality is that regret is just some made-up reality in your head where everything goes to plan. Psychologists even back this up. Studies show that we regret inaction more than action. When looking back, people experience most regret over the paths not taken. This is wild when you think about it, because if we had taken that alternate path, we'd just be wondering about this one. It's really a never-ending cycle. So that's my look at dark matter. There's no perfect choice, there's no better path. Regret is inevitable because we always believe the grass is greener somewhere else. But in reality, the grass is just grass. It only looks greener when you're not standing on it. The real problem isn't that we make the wrong choices, it's that we convince ourselves the ones we didn't make would have been perfect. The only way to be truly happy is to stop chasing this idealized life and start embracing the one you already have. I really enjoyed every minute of Dark Matter. The science doesn't make sense and gets really messy at the end. If you start thinking about it, you're gonna start taking infinities of infinities and the whole thing just crumbles. If you just watch the show and take the lessons as they come without thinking too hard about the science, then it is a really enjoyable watch. Personally, for me, it was one of the best shows in 2024, and I think it is an absolute masterpiece and has a lot to say about regret, even if it's super subtle. Now let's hope Season 2 doesn't ruin the show, or we'll just go to a reality where it doesn't exist. So let's revisit that choice from the beginning, Path A or Path B. No matter which one you pick, you'll probably wonder about the other, but maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that where you are right now, flaws and all, is exactly where you're meant to be.